Welcome to the Diesel University podcast. My name is Maximus Matuccio, and we have a very special guest, Hampton Kaye-Kuter from Milford High School, going to Nebraska next year to wrestle. How are we feeling?
Feel good. We just hit legs. We went pretty hard. It was awesome.
Yeah. What do you? I'm sure you guys will see some clips. We're gonna sprinkle some clips in there throughout the podcast because our camera's only on like 10%. I don't know. We got like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, so we're gonna try to fit it all in the short period of time. Yeah. Just gotta adapt and overcome. Yeah. All right. So a lot of people are probably wondering about your athletic journey. Yeah. That's something that's always very interesting and very compelling with every athlete. How do you think your athletic journey has shaped you as a person? And can you just talk a little bit about it? I'll hand you the mic because we only have one mic today too. We're making do with what we have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been wrestling for a really long time. I've been wrestling since I was in like first grade, but it was like, it was never really like my main like focus in life. Like I loved it and I wrestled a lot, and I wasn't very good when I started, but I got decent. Like I think I came second in states like my 8th grade year, and I lost to Cordio, who's legit. But I was never very good. I went freshman year, wrestled. I played football too. I was pretty good at football, but I kind of just lost love for the sport. I wrestled, and I wrestled 182, but I weighed like 160. So, like I would have to like put stuff in my singlet to like not be 20 pounds under the weight limit. And I was like 1 or 2 matches under 500, so like I was okay. But I like not a positive record, Yeah. So I was really, and obviously I was 20 pounds lighter, so I was weaker than everybody. So what I did is I just started trying to gain weight, and this was about a month before COVID started. I was lifting a lot at my high school, eating clean, and I gained like I got up to like 180s. Okay. And I looked pretty good. I was okay, and I was on a steady state. And then COVID happened. I stopped lifting, and I gained probably like 10 pounds of fat, honestly. I just did nothing for like a month. Okay. But gyms are closing, and I don't have any stuff at home. So I decided to start lifting again, and I bought some lifting equipment, and I was working at a restaurant at the time. I worked at Hideaway Pizza, so I could just eat a lot of food. So
a lot of fucking pizza.
All I did is just eat like all day. Like
what was your go-to at like the pizza shop?
Dude, so all the mess up pizzas I just eat. So yeah. I literally would eat like 3-4 pizzas, full pizzas, like during my shift.
Jesus Christ.
And then
how long was your shift?
It depends, 6 to 8 hours. But I was just eating a ton there. I was eating at home too, and then I was also, I'd get my own meal, not including the fuck up pizzas. Yeah. And that would be like a sandwich or something. And then I usually bring something home and I eat that. And then I go out to eat and spend all my money I made at the job on food. I just ate all the time. So I was eating and I was lifting in my basement. And pretty much all I did is I'd like lift for an hour a day. No, not an hour. I would lift for really long periods of time, like I was talking about earlier. Like I do like those like crazy like 6-hour lifts, but I wouldn't get anything done. Like it'd be like I just bench all day, and I just bench and play video games and eat, and I just kept gaining weight. I was getting stronger because I was pushing myself really hard on the bench, but that's all I was doing. I did bench and I did tricep accessories. That's it. Yeah. That's all I was obsessed with, was getting a better bench, because my bench was always my weakest lift. Mm-hmm. So I was just trying to get better bench, and I benched every single day of the week, and I just fail like my max every day. So I started out, bought a rack and got some plates, and I was hitting like 225. Worked up, but it was like 225 was easy at this point. I'm probably 215 body weight. Okay. And 225, I get up to 315, and 315 to I just tried to jump straight to 365, and for like 2 months I just kept failing 365.
That's a fucking big jump.
But I just never went in between. I just kept trying to do that, and eventually I hit it. Once you hit it, like you can do it, and you just keep doing it. So then once I hit 365, now I'm trying to hit 405, and I just kept failing that. So eventually I hit 405 and then 425, and this whole time my body weight's going up. because I'm eating more and more. And then I switch halfway through, like I start working at another restaurant, Galliford's, and that I'm working crazy hours, like 60, 70 hours a week in school. And I did that in wrestling season too. By my sophomore year season, I show up, I'm probably 275. And I am like way overweight, and I can't run a lap around my school. And, like, you can ask anybody on my team, I was the most out of shape person you've ever met. And I wrestled my first match, and I just died. Like, my eyes rolled back in my head, literally. Like, I was so out of shape. Yeah. So I kind of stopped. Like, I still ate like shit, but I stopped force feeding. Yeah. I stopped forcing myself to get bigger. And I wrestled this whole season, and it was COVID season, so there wasn't a lot of matches, but I think I was like 10 and 5 or something. Yeah. Like however many matches we had. But I wasn't great, and I thought I would be stronger than everybody what I was, but I had the worst conditioning ever. I actually don't think I ever made it a full lap around the like we used to run outside around this track. Yeah. I don't think we ever made a full lap. So that was pretty embarrassing, you know. Like, my whole team waited for me for like minutes. Like it sucked. So I get out of that season, and I'm depressed as hell. I'm fat, and I gained some weight back, and then I just kind of like, I'm at a crossroads, and I just decide, like, what am I gonna do? Like, because at this point I was benching 475, and at this point I haven't benched I didn't really lift that wrestling season. Yeah. So I've kind of lost a lot of my strength, and I'm also still fat. So now I'm just not strong. And I don't really know what to do, so I decided to join off-season wrestling for the first time, and I joined New England Gold. Yeah. And there's this guy, his name's Jake Morris, and he's my coach and my training partner, and he's like the reason I've been able to do any of this. He trains with me all the time, and he like kind of took me under his wing a little bit, and I started wrestling with him, and probably 2 weeks into wrestling there, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm a wrestler. You know, yeah. So I there's a tournament, Thousand Islands. It's a month away, and I'm weighing like 265, and I need to make 215. So it's like 50 pounds. Yeah. And I just decided I'm gonna do it, and I came home and told my parents I was gonna do it. They didn't believe me, you know. Yeah. But they said we could go to the tournament, but they didn't think I could do it because it's crazy.
In a month.
Yeah. So what I did is I ate 10 ounces of chicken, and this is true. Like, go on my Instagram, you can see I documented it. I ate 10 ounces of chicken once a day at 3, usually at Galliford's. I'd make it there, get home from Galliford's real late, and work out at night. And I'd also work out before. Like, I'd probably do two workouts a day plus wrestling. Yeah. So with that wrestling, I was burning a ton of calories, and I was melting weight off. Yeah. And I was super disciplined at it. I just like went into a zone. I'd never been there before. I'd never been that locked in about something in my life. And we show up the week before the tournament. We have a vacation with my family in Washington, D.C. So that entire week, I'm just not eating like anything, and we're like going out to dinner and stuff, and like I just had to sit there, and it's hot as hell out, and we just walk around all day because we're tourists. Yeah. And I was dying, and I had still probably 20 pounds of water to lose to make 215, and so like last day, I lock myself, and my parents and my family, they go out, and and I say I'm staying home, and we're in an Airbnb, and I lock myself in a bathroom, and I like stuff towels under the doors and the window, and like blast the shower as hot as it can get, and I like make a sauna out of that room.
You made a sauna in the bathroom?
Yeah, and I'm also at this time I haven't been drinking water for this whole day, but I start drinking black coffee, like Death Wish black coffee, the highest caffeine that you can get, so I can it's like a diuretic. Yeah. And I'm chugging the black coffee, and then I'm blasting the shower. Once it's steamy in there, I change it to a bath, and then in the bath I poured Epsom salt and vinegar in, and then and the bath is like boiling hot, and water's 100% humidity, so your whole body gets hot, you sweat.
Yeah.
So I had my phone up on the sink, and I had like a 15-minute timer on it, and I do 15 minutes in there, get out, and I just did that all day. It was so brutal. Like I like passed out a couple times.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it was really bad. It was not safe.
That's the type of shit that you see, like you saw
weight cutters,
like,
dude.
McGregor's cut, like his
Right.
crazy cut.
But they've got, they've got teams of guys like that
like
are there
checking
to
his
pull them
vitals
out.
and shit.
Dude, I was in
the
alone.
bathroom with the fucking.
I was
towels
alone,
up
and
with
I had the vinegar in there because I was trying to like get skin off of me, and then I had the Epsom salt to draw water out of the skin.
Yeah.
And I just was going in and out, in and out. I went to bed, and like I couldn't sleep because I was dying, and I'll never forget, my heart was beating like 180, like it was like just pounding. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack, but I finally got to sleep, and next morning, 12-hour drive. And I just sit in the car wrapped up in like all sorts of layers trying to sweat because I didn't think I was going to make it, because on the scale it says I'm still like 218 and I'm still like 3 pounds away, and I'm like, I mean, now this whole time, mind you, I'm running outside, I'm doing all this stuff, but it's like I thought I wasn't going to make it, so I laid it up and I just sat in the car. Worst car ride of my life.
Yeah.
And we show up and we go on the check scale, and I'm like 209. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I bought this scale at CVS when we were up there, and it just was wrong. Like, it just told me that I wasn't making it. So I just had suffered like so much more. So I drank.
To, bro. Like to lose 6 pounds is like that. Like having to be in the bathtub is probably like the fucking 6 pounds that you would have.
Yeah. So I drank like a Pedialyte just because I knew I could handle it, like, and not miss weight. Made weight, ate back up to 230. Wrestled that tournament, and I wrestled the best I've ever wrestled. I wrestled a kid that had just gotten second at NHSCA's, and I lost 1-0. And I was like, man, like I don't know how to wrestle, and I just almost beat this kid. Like I can, I have something here. So I wanted to recomp because at this point I look like shit. Like I look like weird. I have a bunch of loose skin, and just like a weird physique. So I decide I'm gonna go carnivore. It actually, like, I didn't really decide to go carnivore. I just kind of slowly started getting rid of carbs.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped eating them. And the only thing I had was ground beef, and I just kept eating ground beef. So in the mornings I had eggs. I had eggs in the morning, and then I just eat. Whenever I got hungry, I'd just be like, all right, the only thing you're allowed to eat is a pound of ground beef. And I did that for 8 months. And during that 8 months, I'm training crazy hard. I mean, I wrestled like once or twice a day, and I'm at least lifting once or, I most days I was legitimately getting 3 sessions, like 3 workouts in.
Yeah.
And I did that for that whole period of time, and I just recomped really hard. It destroyed my body, and I'm dealing with it a lot now. Like, it ruined my bicep tendons and elbows and stuff like that. But I felt like I had to catch up, because what people don't realize about wrestling is it's different than these other sports. These guys have been on the mat for so long. Like, they've been on the mat since they were like 4 years old.
Yeah.
And so I needed to like try to catch up. So I just wrestled as much as possible, and I got a lot better. And I wrestled that junior year season, and I was 47-1. I lost 1 match because it'd been like a while since I had lost. I'd been doing all this off season. I was slacking, and I lost this 1 match, and then that kid ended up getting bumped down to 3rd place match with me, and I pinned him.
Yeah.
So like it was the best thing that could have happened to me. Like, you gotta lose. You have to lose. Like, the only way you can improve is if you lose. I never learned anything from winning.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't really learn much from winning. You just kind of create this like exaggerated sense of self from repeatedly winning. And because like if you're winning all the time, what's the reason to like train hard or train harder? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I went 47-1. I did great, and I won New England's. I won all 4 in a row at 220, and honestly, I wasn't that good at wrestling yet. Like, I was just way tougher, and I wanted it so bad. My New England finals match was a quadruple overtime against a kid that was pretty much the exact same as me. He just wanted it. He just wanted it real bad, but I wanted it more, and I won in the end. But like, I won kind of just off of heart. Like, there was better wrestlers.
Yeah.
Then I went into a period of training where it was really hard, like really hard on technique and like learning how to actually wrestle.
Yeah.
Because I had gotten to the physical form like that I could compete with these guys. And I'm grateful for the journey because I mean now I'm like I've been like I'm always the strongest guy on the mat, you know, because I not nobody has like the same lifting experience as me.
Yeah.
And I'm always the toughest guy on the mat because I just really like this is all I want to do. Like this is my life.
Yeah.
So I kind of went into like a brief period of training where it was just technique with my coach Jake, and we'd wrestle live just all day, and then I just lift, and that was priming for Fargo. And Fargo, a month before Fargo, I tore my calf really bad, and I got compartment syndrome, I think, from the tear. But then I got hit again, and it broke the thing, and it like re-leaked the blood out, so it kind of saved me there because I kept training on it. But I was like, I couldn't walk for like a week. Like I was like compressing my leg and nothing was helping. Like, so I just decided to do a Murph, which is like, I can't remember what it is. It's like 2-mile run and a bunch of pull-ups. Yeah.
100 setups.
Yeah. I have it somewhere on my Instagram. I put it up, but I did a Murph on the torn calf. You can see I have it wrapped. And the next day it just hardened. And it hasn't bothered me really since.
Yeah.
So the doctor was like, I don't know, like because he didn't know if I was going to be able to wrestle. But it worked out for me. I wrestled at Fargo. I get there. It's the biggest tournament in the world, the biggest wrestling tournament in the world. And my literal first match, I lose. Like, and this kid's good. He's a Jersey. He was like #1 ranked in Jersey. But
Jersey's pretty good, right?
Yeah, they're one of the best, like top 3 states.
Yeah.
And it sucked. But I lost this first match. I was ridiculously nervous, and I lost in like the last second. I was winning the whole match, and I lost in the last second. And that's a death sentence in Fargo because it's the biggest tournament in the world, and you know how Conti brackets work. Like, it's hard to fight back in a normal bracket. This is like round of 256. Like, you're screwed. But I wrestled, and I won every match. I can't remember. I think it was like 9 matches on the backside.
Yeah.
And then I lost again in the blood round. I was just so tired. The kid had just dropped out of the championships, you know, so he was fresher. Yeah. And I'd wrestled like so many matches in a row and beat kids that were better than me, like I was just in a groove.
Yeah.
But after that, that was like what got me recruited in Nebraska because they saw me fight on my backside. And previously I kind of forgot to mention this. I drove up to Nebraska, and then I did a camp there for like a week. And that kind of got my foot in the door, but not really. Like they weren't considering recruiting me. They just kind of knew who I was because I was there for a week, and I trained really hard. And I was the only kid that would like wrestle Tervel and wrestle Lance, which they're so good. They killed me. They murdered me. Yeah. But I just like when me and Lance were up there, he just All-American the year before, and I was like, dude, like he just said like hand fight till we fall, and I was like, all right, dude, and I did, and he, you know, that put at least like got my foot in the door, and like they knew who I was, and they knew that I would work my ass off. Yeah. So then they're Nebraska. They're like one of the best teams, you know, and they were number two ranked this year in the NCAA. So it's very hard to get recruited there. So they were like, you know, yeah, you looked good, but I didn't really talk to them. And then Fargo happened, and I won all those matches on the backside. I beat some really good kids because I mean Fargo's crazy. Like everybody there is a state champ. Like everybody there is really, really, really good. So getting to top, you know, 12 is ridiculous. Like it's really hard to do. So they called me, gave me an official, and I mean the rest is history. Now I'm going to Nebraska. But I was not a kid that was supposed to, you know, like nobody thought that I was gonna go D1, and almost every D1 kid was a freshman state champ or like some crazy stuff like that. And I worked really hard. Like I worked harder than I just don't think that people understand how linear and how simple the process really is. You get what you put in, and I put in every single, and I still do to this day. Like I put in every ounce of effort into this. Yeah. And it's rewarded me. Now everybody's got predispositions and benefits and strengths and stuff like that, but you can't argue that hard work is going to get you somewhere. So all I did is I worked as hard as I could. at everything. And for everybody that thinks they're working hard, a lot of times you're not. A lot of times you're not as working as hard as you're not. And a lot of times you gotta realize that you can't go to your limits. Going to your limits is not enough. You actually have to push through your limits. Like you actually, every single day, you got to find the point where you want to quit, and you got to say, hey, I have a choice here to quit or I don't, and I'm not going to quit. Because a lot of people think like going to failure is like the term. Like you go to failure and that's it. That's not it. How are you going to improve if you keep just pushing to your failure point? Then you just are stuck at the same point.
Yeah.
You really got to break through. So I mean, I think that I just think that more people should assess themselves and really look and say like, am I actually working hard enough? Because it's really easy to play like to be a victim, and it's really easy to just think like, man, that like I wasn't born for this, and like I like it's just not my place. Like I'm just gonna be a guy, but that doesn't need to happen. Like I was not born to be a wrestler. I'm the least flexible guy you know. I was like, my whole family on my dad's side is diabetic. I gain weight ridiculously easily. Now it's really hard for me to put on weight because I reset my metabolism. But I was not dealt like the genetic hand of a wrestler. All I have is like my mind, and all I have is I want to work harder than everybody else in the room. And that's been enough for me. Like now it's not enough. It's not enough yet, but it's gotten me to this point. And now there are people who ask me like, what do I do? Like, and there's people that are saying like, you know, I'm not Hampton. Like I can't do that. And that's not true. Like it's really not. Like I wasn't like, I don't feel like I was anything special.
Yeah.
And I still don't. I just feel like the only thing that really I think has separated me is I'm willing to work so much harder, and I'm willing to exhaust every option. Like I will like succeed. Like that's what's gonna happen.